Congressional leaders want to lower auto prices, but that may be a tall order. Phil Lebeau joins us right now with more on that front. Phil, good morning.
Good morning, Becky. When you take a look at what's happened with auto prices, everybody knows that they've gone up, but I'm not sure they appreciate just how much they have gone up. We've asked Cox Automotive to calculate the average transaction price going back, starting in October of this year, going all the way back to 2018. Look at the change. In October, the average transaction price, this is the average paid in the dealership, not MSRP, was just under $50,000. That's roughly $11,000 more than what we saw back in 2018 before the pandemic, an increase of 29.5%. And you really see it reflected in terms of the auto loan monthly payments. According to TransUnion, they now are above $750. They've been steadily edging higher. The real increase was during the pandemic, but they continue to move higher. And again, this is from TransUnion showing the average monthly new vehicle auto loan payment is more than $750. So a couple of things have been driving auto prices and auto payments higher. First of all, automakers are focusing on higher trim levels. I know everybody says, well, what about the base price? Someone will order a vehicle, a base model. You know how few people order a base model? It just doesn't happen. And the automakers realize that people want the technology and the features that they've become used to in automobiles. So as a result, higher trim levels are what they're focusing on. Those are the vehicles that are selling. And they're also facing higher costs. They're not just doing this because they're saying, well, let's charge more. They have to figure out a way to, as much as possible, protect their profit margins. And they have to do that because costs have gone up, whether it's raw materials, whether it's the impact of new labor contracts, tariffs in certain cases. Suppliers have been able to push along a lot of their increased costs. So the bottom line is this. As you take a look at GM, Ford, and Stellantis, there will be a hearing next month, or in January, I should say. Senator Ted Cruz wants to take a look at auto affordability, Becky. It will be interesting to see what comes out of this. Yes, people are not happy that auto monthly loan payments are more than $750 for a new vehicle, but they've also gone up, Becky, for used vehicles. It's about $150 to $170 less for a used vehicle monthly payment. I think it's somewhere in the 570s, 580 range. The bottom line is this. These prices show no indication that they are going to stop and reverse. They have plateaued to a certain extent, but there's no indication that they're going to be coming back down.
Phil, that was kind of the conversation. Joe, the point he was making earlier is when inflation moderates, it doesn't mean prices come down. You're still at these elevated levels, and inflation over time naturally pushes higher. When you see a big jump, it's really tough to get at that, to kind of get rid of that jump without dealing with all of the input costs, the labor costs, and everything else that has gone higher as a result. That almost sounds like it's a near impossible task to try and get at why prices are higher and how to roll them back.
And the interesting thing is, Becky, you will hear people say, well, I would buy a more modestly priced vehicle if it was $35,000 or $40,000. And to be clear, there are some vehicles that sell in that price point, at least as a starting price. But you start adding on features. You say to somebody, you want navigation? Do you want this particular feature? Do you want heads-up display? Whatever it might be. And we have become, as consumers, convinced that when we have a new vehicle, I want the latest features. And so we go up a trim level. And that's what the automakers are focusing on. They realize that nobody buys a base price vehicle. It just doesn't happen. I mean, I shouldn't say it never happens. Very, very small percentage of buyers, Becky. So as a result, the prices keep moving higher.
Yeah, I wouldn't care if I didn't have GPS. I wouldn't care about a few things. But you can't even go into the store or to the dealership and ask for, you know, I'll take X, Y, and Z, and I don't want these other things. It's not really an option.
Phil's ready to buy a Jeep without doors. So, you know, with him, he's remember, Phil?
Isn't that the way everybody wants a Jeep?
That was optional.
Joe, you give me a Husky and a Jeep without doors. I can drive around for the rest of my life and be as content as be.
Out in the wilderness with an EV. Good luck. Better bring a Generac. Can you bring one of those in the trunk or something?
Who said it? Who said anything about an EV?
That was an EV that you were showing us last. That was an EV you were showing.
It was.
Well, that's who's talking about it. You were, and it didn't have any doors.
Yes, Joe. Do you know that there are people who drive around in the suburbs with Jeeps without doors? Oh, my goodness. Have you been out and seen this? It happens all the time.
I don't get out.
Maybe not
get out much.
in New Jersey. Not in New Jersey. Get out away from the East Coast, Joe, and you will see that there are people doing this.
Okay. I just did that, actually. I'll do that, but I still don't see a lot without doors. Where do you store the door? Is it hard to put them on, Phil? Can you do that? Does the dealer have to do that?
Get used to it. I mean, no, you can do it. I mean, it's always been that way. With those, with Jeeps, or if you want to do that with, let's say, a Ford Bronco where you can take the doors off. Yes, you can do that. It depends on the people who, I don't know many people who like to do it on a daily basis. Generally speaking, depending on the weather where they live, they either keep them on or keep them off.